Good afternoon, everybody. It's Simon here from careermap.co.uk and welcome to day 2 of National Work Experience Week. Today's session, we're joined by Sam McGrain from British Airways, who'll be talking about their early career opportunities, including work experience, all the way through to apprenticeships. So really looking forward to this one. But before we begin, you'll see a chat facility on the right-hand side of the screen. If you've got any questions at any time during the presentation, pop them in there and we'll run through as many as we can during the Q&A session at the end. But without further ado, I will pass you over to Sam to begin the presentation.
Thank you. So hi everybody and welcome. I'm so excited to be talking to you all today. I really want you to be as interactive as much as possible. So as we say, please use the chat box as much as you would like. Whenever I ask you guys questions, it'd be great to see some of your answers in there as well. We've got a bit of a quiz also during the presentation today, so you can use the polls. So yeah, feel free to be as interactive as possible. So my name is Sam and I am an emerging talent partner at British Airways. And what that means is my team and I find the right talent to join our apprenticeship and graduate programs at British Airways. So I'm really happy to be here today with Career Map for National Work Experience Week to talk about all things British Airways, some skills in aviation and our apprenticeship schemes. So what can you expect from the next 45 minutes or so? So it's quite a very quick run through of today's agenda. It's quite jam-packed. We are going to cover an introduction to British Airways, who we are and what we do. We're going to look at some different areas of an airline, some that you may not know or you may be surprised by. We're going to have a little look at some of the key skills in aviation that our colleagues use daily and how that you as students can build up on those. We're going to finish talking about apprenticeship programs at British Airways and with a Q&A. So you don't need anything for today's webinar. You might want to take some notes. So if you have a pen and paper, great. Or if you want to use your phone to take notes or take photos of the slides, please feel free. So to introduce British Airways and all the different careers we have, what I'd just like to do quickly is play you a short video. It's one of our more recent British Airways videos, and it tells the UK how excited we are to get back to the skies during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'll just play that now.
Good morning, this is your captain speaking.
Here we go.
Something that makes us fly. For us, it's you.
Ready, and action! The idea.
So now I'm going to test your knowledge. We're going to have a quick quiz about British Airways. We'll see if we have any super fans potentially amongst us. So the questions will appear as polls when I upload them, and you'll be able to vote on the correct answer. So question number 1, where do you think most of the fuel stored on an aircraft is? Is it A, in the tail, B, in the wings, or C, in the wheels? So the poll should be available for you to vote on now.
There's always a little bit of a delay, so we'll just let the guys add their answers.
Cool. So where do you think, guys? Where is most of the fuel stored on an aircraft? Okay, I can't see the answers. So Simon, if I publish them, will they appear?
Yeah, you should try that one.
Right, guys, let's go for it. What do you all think?
Ah, there we go.
So the right answer is B. It's in the wings, and this is for balance. So there is also fuel stored centrally across the fuselage in the aircraft, but it is B, in the wings. Okay, question 2. How many stripes does a captain have on their jacket sleeves? Is it A, 2, B, 4, or C, 6? So that poll should be open now if you want to go ahead and vote on what you think the correct answer is. Okay.
No. Ah.
So
if you leave it to run a little bit longer, that might help it next time. Yeah.
I think it closed. The correct answer is B, 4. So trainee pilots have 1 stripe, first officers have 2, our senior first officers have 3, and our captains have 4. Next question.
Do you want me to do the next poll?
That would be great, thank you. Which of these British Airways routes has the greatest flying distance? Is it A, London to New York, B, London to Delhi, or C, London to Hong Kong? And no cheating, no Googling, no Google Maps.
Can you see that, Sam, or do you want me to?
Do you want to give it a few more seconds? Are we ready?
No, that's...
Cool. So the correct answer is C. It's London to Hong Kong. So London to New York is around 7 to 8 hours. London to Delhi is around 8 to 9 hours. And everybody said Hong Kong is correct. That's approximately 11 to 12 hours away. So next question. What percentage of our pilot community, the pilots that work at British Airways, do you think are female? Is it A, 7%, B, 17%, or C, 32%? It's quite a split across the answers there, guys.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, think we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. The correct answer is A. It's 7%. So everyone who said A, well done. As much as we would love it to be higher and we would wish it was higher, women only make up 7% of our pilot community at British Airways. However, the industry average for other airlines all around the world is only around 5%. So we are ahead of the industry average, but we're going to keep pushing for this to increase and get more female pilots in the cockpit. And finally, how many customers does British Airways serve each day out of Terminal 5? Is it A, 5,000, B, 50,000, or C, 20,000? This might have dipped slightly during the last couple of years and the COVID-19 pandemic, but on average, this is the correct answer.
Is it getting back to normal now, Sam?
It is. So, I mean, guys, I don't know about you all, but everybody is desperate for holidays at the moment. And our Easter schedule has been jam-packed, and it's looking very much the same for our spring-summer schedule. So it's great to see that everybody wants to jet off on their holidays again, and that the demand is there. So we're just, as an airline now, really trying to build back to make sure that we can meet that demand.
Brilliant. Good news. Yeah, I think the poll's ended.
Excellent. So the correct answer is B. We actually serve on average 50,000 passengers through our award-winning Terminal 5 at London Heathrow. So well done, everyone. So a few more facts that you might not know about British Airways. We are the flag carrier of the United Kingdom. So what this means is we are an international airline with a strong connection to the UK, and you can see the UK flag on all of our aircraft's tails. So we represent the UK all around the world, and whenever you look up to the skies and you see that flag, you know that that's a British Airways aircraft. We fly to more than 180 destinations all around the world, and we're constantly adding in new routes, even despite the challenges. This year we've added in routes to Latvia, Lahore, Montego Bay, so we're constantly adding new exciting routes for our passengers. We fly across 80 countries, so we're one of the really most expansive airlines. We fly all around the world. We're actually one of the very few airlines that flies to all continents around the world. We operate a fleet of over 250 aircraft. So we are absolutely massive. When you think in comparison, Virgin Atlantic have 35 aircraft. So for comparison for size, we have over 250. So we are a huge, huge operation. We serve over 45 million customers each year. So that is a lot of cups of tea on board. We have celebrated our centenary, so this is 100 years of flying from our very first flight in 1919. We're now in our second century. We're a part of the IAG, the International Airlines Group. Be great to see in the chat box if anyone recognises any of the other airlines in this group. If you do, pop in the chat box, see if you recognise them. Each airline is very different within this group, but being a part of this group and having a parent company means that these 5 airlines, we can all work together to create really good value for customers and great value and ideas for shareholders. It's quite good business sense to be a part of a group, as it means that we can share our strategies and our plans, and it's good business sense that we can bulk buy for fuel, for example, or aircraft parts. It's more cost effective to buy for 5 airlines rather than 1. We're also a founding member of the One World Alliance. So this is a group that's comprised of 13 members, 13 different airlines, and we all work together to allow customers to be able to fly all around the world seamlessly. So for example, if a British Airways passenger wants to fly from London to Hawaii, we might not fly there directly, but we work with our partner airlines in the alliance to make sure that that passenger has a very smooth transition. And it creates great savings and benefits to all of our frequent flyers. So now let's take a quick look at some of the aircraft that we have and our cabins on board. So this is our first class cabin on board our Boeing 787 aircraft. If you are flying in this cabin as a passenger, you receive a really special luxury a la carte dining service. You get luxury pajamas and amenity kits, and it's basically you're weighted on hand and foot. Be great to see if what you guys think. How much do you think return tickets to New York would be today to fly first class? So I looked this up this morning. I thought, how much would it be to fly to New York for first class? Maybe pop in the chat box how much you guys think that might be. 5,000, 2,000. There's a couple of answers coming through there. 1K. So guys, I looked it up this morning. It's actually £7,800. It's a lot of money, isn't it, to fly our first class to New York? If you are flying in our first class cabin, you also have access to our first class wing at Terminal 5 in Heathrow. So the first wing is an exclusive check-in area for our most premium and frequent flyers. And it just allows them to have that same luxury experience that they have on the aircraft. They also have it on the ground in the terminal. They can breeze through security, breeze through check-in, and it's really peaceful for them. Next on board, we have our Club World cabin. So this is what British Airways calls business class. So you'll see here the Club World suite looks like on our A350 aircraft, but it's also being rolled out across all of our fleet. So soon all of our Club World cabins will look like this. Our passengers are able to experience direct aisle access no matter where they're sat on the aircraft, so they can get up, stretch their legs and walk around. They all have flat lie-down beds and screen doors for privacy, as well as a really enhanced dining experience. So thinking about New York again, if you were to book a New York ticket today to fly in our Club World cabin, how much do you think that would be? Bearing in mind first class was nearly £8,000. 5K? 4,000? A little bit more, a bit higher, guys. 4.5, 6. 6. Whoever said 6, you're not far off. So to fly in our business class cabin, it would be £5,800 to New York and back today. Next up, we have our World Traveller cabin. So this is what other airlines might call premium economy. However, we call it our World Traveller Plus. So this cabin offers a more enhanced dining experience. You get a larger and further reclining seat, so you can recline back a little bit more. It's not fully lie down, but you can pop it back and have a good rest on your night flight. And it's more intimate cabin. And then finally, we have our most popular cabin. So World Traveller is essentially our economy cabin. It's our most popular. It connects tens of thousands of passengers all around the world each day. So if you've ever been on board a British Airways flight, for example, I've only ever been on board in World Traveller, and it is still a really nice cabin. It's absolutely lovely and our most popular. So something that I just wanted to mention that we're really proud of at British Airways is Flying Start. And this is our charity partnership with Comic Relief. So our colleagues have actually raised for Flying Start over £22 million so far. And this money helps children living all around the world in all the destinations that we fly to, living really tough lives. It gives them a flying start in life, whether that's towards their education, community, different initiatives. So our colleagues get to take part in fundraising challenges and events to raise that money for Flying Start alongside of their normal jobs. So it is a really fun thing that our colleagues like to be a part of. So thinking about our colleagues at British Airways, be interesting to see how many colleagues you think we have and how many different functions or areas make up our business. So I'll play a short video, and I'd love for you to see how many different jobs you think you can spot in this video. So again, pop in the chat box, maybe when you spot a career.
Dear Britain.
Dear Britain.
Dear Britain.
You're an incredible bunch.
How you're coping with these difficult times.
With so many going the extra mile to look after us, and all coming together by staying apart.
While managing to keep your unique British sense of humour.
You're doing your bit, and we're trying to do our bit too.
Flying you home to your family and friends.
And keeping vital equipment and supplies moving to the people who need them most.
Like you, our colleagues are doing all they can to support the NHS.
But we miss you too.
And while you can't yet start flying, we know you'll never stop dreaming of reuniting with your loved ones.
Of exploring new places.
Of creating new adventures and wonderful memories. Dreaming of a day when you can look at the sky from a magical window.
So, we will do everything in our power to get you, Britain, flying again.
And when we do,
we'll do it with pride, in honour of you all. We love you, Britain.
We love you, Britain.
We love you, Britain.
So are there any jobs there or careers that you guys saw? So I'm just going to look through the answers. Pilot, engineer, yep. Office workers, definitely. Warehouse, customer service, yep, good spot. Okay, yeah, you guys saw the main ones. What I'll do now on the next slide is I will show you all of the different areas that make up British Airways. So there are so many there. Obviously, we saw the main ones, cabin crew, pilots, engineers. What I thought I'd do is I'd pick out some on this slide here that you might not be as familiar with. So networks and alliances. These are the guys that plan all our routes all around the world. They work with other airports all around the world, different airlines to code share, and they also work with all the different aviation authorities. So they are a really interesting bunch. We have engineering, so you guys spotted the engineers. We have engineering bases at London Heathrow, London Gatwick, Cardiff and Glasgow, as well as bases all around the world. We have in-flight customer experience. So if you think about that phrase, customer experience in flight, that means our cabin crew. So our cabin crew team are on board and also on the ground, making sure that all our crew are rostered safely and logistically all around the world and look after them. And cargo, I noticed one of you guys spoke about, you've put logistics, warehouse, absolutely, that's IAG World Cargo. So if you think about our aircraft, we don't just transport passengers on holiday, we actually take all sorts of interesting things all around the world as cargo. So we have an animal centre at Heathrow where we transport animals all around the world, so small ones to large ones for zoos. We transport things like gold bars, Rolexes, cases of Rolexes, all this kinds of crazy stuff. More recently, obviously during the COVID-19 pandemic, we were absolutely essential in transporting medical supplies and aid all around the world. So to pick out a few different departments there. So now we're going to hear from some of our colleagues at BA from some of these different areas, from our pilots, engineers, crew. We're going to hear from them and the top skills that they use every day in their work. So we're going to be thinking about skills now.
This session will look at the sort of skills our colleagues use every day in the world of aviation, and they will give you some top tips on how you can develop and practice them yourselves. We asked our colleagues 3 questions about their skills. What is your top most used skill at work? How do you use this skill in your role? And how can students gain, practice or improve this skill? So let's hear from them now.
One skill we use all the time is problem solving. Aircrafts and engines can be quite complex machines. Our problems can range from a component not fitting onto the aircraft to trying to find out why something isn't working and fixing it. We may have to come up with several solutions, and we have to use our judgments and our knowledge to find out which one is the best solution for it. One way you can improve your problem solving skills is by trying to brainstorming in your next team exercise you do, in your next projects, as you try and find more creative solutions. Or you can even try more strategic puzzles like crosswords or Sudoku and stuff like that.
I think teamwork is going to be one of the most important skills you acquire. Teamwork is required almost daily for getting aircraft out on time, and jobs that will require this will range from engine changes, wheel changes, all the way to emergency slide replacements. Teamwork is an easy and natural task for some, but others will find this daunting. A good way to practice these skills would be to join a school team or get involved in school activities as much as you can.
My most used skill at work has to be workload management. I use workload management to help the captain run a smooth service from the moment we arrive at the aircraft until after we've disembarked the last passenger, but most importantly I use workload management when things aren't going quite as expected, be that technical problems with the aircraft, weather or diversions for example. So my top tips to help you improve your workload management would be to prioritise. If you're not able to complete all the objectives that have been set, focus on the one that's most important to you right now. Use times when maybe you aren't so busy to plan ahead for when things are going to get busier, how are you going to attack that, what's your plan, but most importantly be calm, be methodical and don't crack under pressure.
My most valuable skill is communication. In my role every day I work with engineers I may have never worked with before on aircraft I'm unfamiliar with. Therefore, communication is important for good teamwork. Whether it's talking to crew members about a fault they found or sourcing parts from stores personnel. Communication is a skill best practiced in the field. Put yourself outside of your normal social comfort zones and look for opportunities to speak in public. It's a skill many people struggle with, so don't worry if you haven't mastered it yet.
Of all the skills required for my role, I would say the most important is communication skills. There are different groups of people I communicate with on a daily basis, for example the flight crew, cabin crew, ground staff and of course our customers. It's necessary for me to adapt my style of communication with each group due to their many different needs and demands. For example, when dealing with a customer complaint, it's necessary for me to listen, ask questions, check my understanding, empathise and offer an acceptable solution. Good communication is a transferable skill that benefits us in both our work and personal life. To improve your skills, practice listening. Don't be afraid to ask questions until you have a clear understanding. Consider taking notes to refer back to and repeat back to clarify your understanding.
These are really valuable skills that are needed in aviation, but are also the kind of transferable skills that many employers will all be looking for. Here are a few extra skills and characteristics that we look for at British Airways. Professionalism, being a positive role model for other colleagues, and excellent customer service skills. Thank you and good luck for developing your skill set.
Great. So at British Airways, we recruit for attitude. So what this means is that we look for a person's personality and skills rather than their experience. So we're looking for your attitude and your skills. So we heard there from some of the top skills that our colleagues use daily. So I just want to pick out a few more. We look for people who have strong organisation skills. We need team players at British Airways. We look for people who are problem solvers, so people who don't shy away from a challenge but want to tackle it and think of different ways to solve issues. We look for self-motivated and proactive people. And I guess it goes without saying, as an airline, we need to be timely and punctual. So we look for colleagues that are reliable and punctual as well as being that positive professional role model. You have to be passionate about customer service no matter what you do at the airline, and communication skills are absolutely key. So you might start to be thinking now about, well, what skills do I have? How can I link these to the world of work? So the easiest way to develop some skills are through your hobbies and interests. So if we look at a couple of examples of hobbies, what skills that you can gain through them and how they link to the world of work. For example, on screen, if you enjoy dancing or sports in your spare time, this might suggest that you're great at teamwork, you have discipline. These are all really important skills, and how they link to the world of work is it shows employers that you're hardworking, but that you work well with others and that you have perseverance and drive, especially for sports. For example, if your hobby is cooking, this could suggest that you have great time management skills, you know how to multitask, and you're really good at organising. So that would again link to employability, and that would show employers that you are adaptable to when things go wrong potentially in your cooking. You're efficient, you can juggle your time. All of these are really, really, you might think, how the hell does that relate to employability and world of work? But there is a way that you can link them. So an activity that we encourage students to complete quite a lot when you're preparing for interviews or potentially updating your CV is what we call a skills mind map. So you might want to grab a pen and paper at this point, or take a photo to have a go later on. But a mind map is you get to brainstorm all the different hobbies that you do outside of school or college or work, the skills that you learn from them, and how you can use these skills when you're answering questions about teamwork. So for example, if you're in an interview, an employer says, can you give me an example of when you've worked well as a team? You might think, oh, I haven't got actually any recent work experience examples, because let's face it, the past 2 years, there's not been many opportunities to get work experience. But you could bring in potentially your hobbies and say, well, I play football every Sunday. I'm a part of a team there, or I'm captain and I'm team leader, for example. Other examples might be chess or puzzles. That shows that you're a problem solver or a strategic thinker. If you enjoy socializing or volunteering or community work, that's a great skill that you use to develop your communication skills, a great activity for those. So you really can link everything that you do to employability and to the world of work, which I think will help, as I say, when we know that students haven't had the most opportunities the last couple of years to gain those work experience opportunities. So that's what we would encourage students to do. So finally, I'm going to talk a little bit now about our apprentices and apprentice offerings. We heard a little bit earlier on from some of our engineering apprentices. So what is an apprenticeship? Our apprentices are full-time colleagues that come to work for BA, and then they might have one day off a month, for example, to go and study for a qualification. So you earn whilst you learn, whilst you study. You get a nationally recognised qualification, and they can typically take 1 to 4 years to complete, and our apprentices are given real jobs with real responsibilities from the get-go. Some interesting facts I thought you guys might want to hear about some of our British Airways apprentices. There's some on the screen there, but just to pick out a few, we recruit over 120 apprentices every year into British Airways. This year we're recruiting more than ever. We're looking to recruit around 200 apprentices into the business. Our apprentices get to travel all around the world as part of their work and also for fun. Some of our apprentices have recently travelled to Rio, Toronto, Hamburg, Berlin and Vancouver. And I mean, I always think this is really interesting, but some of our customer service apprentices in the terminals, they've actually checked in over 500 celebrities in the past 3 years. So it is a lot of fun when you come to work and you get to check in celebrities. So what programs do we have at British Airways? So we actually have 3 main streams of apprenticeship programs: business, operations and customer. And what I'm going to do is quickly whiz through the different programs that we have and the different streams to give you a bit of an overview of the level of qualifications, what you need to apply, and the type of things that you get up to on those programs. So business. So if you see yourself potentially working in a busy, dynamic office environment, a professional environment, one of our business programs might interest you. We have Business Professional. This is 3 years long. GCSEs are desirable but not essential for this program. You do gain a level 3 qualification, and the type of thing our business professional apprentices get up to, they rotate around the business in different departments at BA, doing event management, project coordination and business administration. Then we have our higher apprenticeship, which is aspiring leaders. This is 4 years long. You need 2 A-level passes or a level 3 equivalent plus your GCSEs for this program, and you gain a level 6 chartered manager qualification, which is equivalent to a degree. So, you can gain a degree out of an apprenticeship. You don't have to go to university. It's not the only route. Our aspiring leaders, again, rotate around the business. All our programs are rotational, so you get to work with lots of different teams, lots of different areas. We lead projects, meetings, and we really invest in you to be our future leaders at British Airways. Next up, we have project management. That's 2.5 years long. Again, GCSEs are desirable to apply for this, but not essential. You gain a level 4 in project management, and these guys really see the end-to-end rollouts of all our projects at British Airways. So if we have new aircraft being delivered to us, they're responsible for rolling that out, or potentially upgrading and refreshing all our airport lounges. Any big projects at BA, these guys get involved with and see that through. We have some new apprenticeship programs this year. We have digital. So this is a shorter one. It's 18 months long. Again, GCSEs are desirable but not essential. You gain a level 3 in digital marketing or business analyst, depending on what you're interested in. These guys get up to marketing channels on britishairways.com. They work on the app, and they really look at how that we can drive all those customers that are browsing our website and our apps to book with us. And finally, for business, we have data science. So this is, again, a new apprenticeship program for us. It's 3.5 years long. You do need a B or a 6 in maths GCSE for this one, with an ABB A-level maths and 128 UCAS points for this one. You gain a level 6 qualification. So again, it's a higher apprenticeship. You get that degree level out of this in data science. And these guys are the ones who, they really crunch all that data at British Airways, and they take it and analyse it and then present it in ways that our senior managers can understand, and then helps them to make decisions about the business. So if you're mathematically minded and you can translate huge amounts of data in ways that, you know, people can understand and simplify that, that is a great program for you. If you think you're more practical, more hands-on, more problem-solving type of person, you might enjoy one of our operation programs a little bit more. We have aircraft maintenance, which is our engineering program at British Airways. It's 3 years long. GCSEs you do need for that one, 5 GCSEs, A star to C, and you do need a minimum of a B or a 6 in maths. And this is because the level of maths application in the program is quite high, so you need to have that B to be able to succeed on the program. So it's across 3 years, and you complete that with a level 3, you'll come out as an aircraft technician, which is equivalent to 2 A-level passes. For our first year during this program, you live off-site in the Cotswolds with your other apprentices, doing all your studies and exams and qualifications. And then for years 2 and 3, you come back to British Airways and you work in our hangars. We have Heathrow Operations, 18 months long. You do not need your GCSEs for this one, but you do need a full UK driving licence. You will gain a level 2 in aviation ground handling ops. And these are the guys that are on the ramp. If you can imagine at Terminal 5, Heathrow, these guys are out there preparing all the stands, getting sure that our aircraft are ready to arrive or depart, making sure the baggage goes where it needs to be. So it is a really exciting area of the airline to be a part of. And we have IAG Cargo. So these are the guys that work in our warehouse, and they do the manual handling of all our cargo, break down all those freights and make sure that they get to fly all around the world where the cargo is needed. It's a level 2 apprenticeship. You do not need your GCSEs for that one, and that is 18 months long. And finally, our customer. So if you enjoy meeting people, working in an airport environment, getting to meet people every day, or helping our customers have the best experience, we do have 2 customer service apprenticeships. We have customer service advisors. These guys are based in Manchester and Newcastle. They're 18 months long. You do not need your GCSEs for this. They're desirable, but not essential. They are level 2, and you'll be supporting our customers with bookings and sales over the phone, email, and dealing with all our social media. So that's a really fun apprenticeship. And then we also have our customer service in the airport. So this is 18 months long. Again, you don't need your GCSEs for this. They're desirable but not essential. You come out with a level 2 qualification, and if you can imagine, on a check-in desk, that's what you'll be doing. You'll be checking people in, boarding our customers, hosting connections and connecting flights, and also working in our first class and business lounges. So why a BA apprenticeship? Well, for one, you get to work alongside very experienced staff at British Airways. We have quite a legacy of apprenticeships at BA, and you'll be working alongside the best of the best and learning from the best, because there is a lot of experience amongst our colleagues. It's a very diverse working environment, and it is an entry to the world of aviation. So it's a foot in the door, if you like. It does mention staff travel there, and I'll come on to that shortly. So what do our apprentices get in return for all of their hard work? So staff travel, I'll mention it because it's the greatest perk, I think, for anyone working at British Airways. This is, you get heavily discounted flights for yourself and 2 friends or family on a standby basis. So if you book a flight wherever you'd like to go to in the world, if that flight, if that seat is not sold to a passenger on board that flight, then that's yours, and you pay very, very little. And more often than not, you get to fly in our club cabin, which we know is our business cabin. Our apprentices also get to be a part of our apprentice community network. So that consists of people who joined BA as apprentices years ago and are now working in the business around all different areas at different management levels. So you get to connect with them, learn about the business areas, but also learn from their experiences and achievements as apprentices. And you also obviously join with your other apprentices across all those programs. So it is a really nice community to be a part of. Our apprentices get involved with lots of things outside of their normal role. So we talked a little bit earlier about Flying Start, our charity programs. They get to be a part of that, doing fundraising. They also get to volunteer in schools and colleges and coaching young people about all the different careers at British Airways. And finally, our apprentices get to be involved with all the different diversity and wellbeing initiatives we have at British Airways. We ask our apprentices to be champions of those. So if you're interested in learning more after this session about British Airways, you can visit SpeedBidZ. So this is our student website. It's an online website where there are tons of learning modules, small bite-sized modules all around employability, aviation, interview prep, confidence and well-being and things like that. But you can also go on there and actually online chat to British Airways colleagues. So if you're interested in being a pilot, you can go onto SpeedBidZ and speak to our pilots and ask them, you know, what is it actually really like to be a pilot? What is it like to do this? What was the recruitment process like, etc. So we have pilots on there, cabin crew, apprentices, graduates. We have colleagues on there from all around the UK as well. So they are an absolutely great resource to speak to. And you can find out what it is really like to be a colleague at British Airways. So what I'll do is, obviously the website is on the slide there, but I'll make sure that I send it either on the chat or to Career Map afterwards, and they can send that link out to you to sign up. Once you do sign up, you get to hear about all the exciting things British Airways are doing, which includes work experience and apprenticeships. So I definitely encourage you to sign up. So that is everything from me. I guess I'd love to hear from you guys now. I appreciate that was at rapid speed, especially during the apprenticeship programs. So if you have any questions, I guess please let us know. I think Simon's going to pick us some out. Any I don't know, caveat, I will go away and find out for you. But what we'll do is we'll answer some questions now, and we'll also send out the links, as I say, to SpeedBidZ, our careers website, and anything else you guys are interested in. Okay.
Yeah. Brilliant, thanks, Sam. Like you say, we'll send some information to all the attendees via email after the session. So keep an eye out on your email, and we'll look forward to sending that out soon. So quite a few questions. I'll start from the bottom and sort of work my way up. This goes back to the poll when you were talking about females in the industry. Charlie says, how do you plan on getting more females into the industry?
Yep, good question. From mine and my team's perspective, we had programs prior to COVID-19 called Your Flying Future, which were encouraging young students, particularly girls, to consider a career in the flight deck and to expose them to all the different ways they could get involved with that. Since the pandemic, that's obviously been on pause. So what we're doing now is we are redesigning what our student programs look like. And we know for us, it's a big focus to encourage girls into those STEM roles, so engineering, pilots, etc. So it's a big focus for us. We will be redesigning that program this summer. So we'll be hoping to launch it from September. And we think it will be looking at things like skills boot camps, potentially gliding opportunities, just to give young women an insight into what it's like as a BA pilot, but also being a female pilot at British Airways. So that's what we're doing. But I also know the pilot recruitment team are also doing a lot of work in this area in terms of working with women's groups, women in leadership groups, lots of networking and mentoring opportunities as well. So our female pilots mentoring young women who are interested in careers in STEM and being a pilot. So watch this space, I guess, because it is a big priority for us and it will only continue to grow and grow.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, someone asked about a pilot apprenticeship as well. Is there any cost involved with that? Because obviously, like if you train to be a private pilot and then go to apply for British Airways or something, there's a significant cost involved in that. Is that how would the apprenticeship work? Would there be a fee involved in that one at all, or have you got any information on that?
So there are 4 kind of main ways that British Airways recruit pilots. The first one is through our Cadet Program. So this is typically where students who are interested in being a pilot will go and train at one of our partnered flight schools. So that is L3 Harris, CAE Oxford, or FTE Jerez. So they will go away and do their training with one of those schools, and then we will tag them, and then they'll come to work at British Airways as a cadet. That is quite an expensive way of doing it, unfortunately. You're looking at around 120,000 for training with one of those flight schools. We also have a newly qualified pilot pathway, which allows people who have trained at any flight school on any particular route to apply at British Airways, which is slightly a more affordable way of doing it. So if you do modular training and come through our newly qualified pilot pathway, that is around 50,000. And then we do have 2 other ways that we recruit pilots, but they're typically for pilots who've either trained in the military or who have already qualified with other airlines, and then we would bring them in. So pilot apprenticeships is something that we would like to explore in the future. It's not something currently that we do offer. Yeah, it's a tricky one. It is a costly training program, and then obviously you claim that back as you progress throughout your career. But something that we're interested in exploring, definitely.
Brilliant, thanks, Sam. Yeah, I did read some stuff about the pilot apprenticeship potentially coming up, into the market. Yeah. So watch this space, guys, I suppose. Yeah, Saul says, I think it's going back a few slides as well, when you had a picture of a big airplane and the red arrows. So Saul was saying, do you work with the Royal Air Force as they're in the picture?
We collaborate with them for lots of different events. We've worked with them previously for exhibitions, and we work with them for student events typically. So we might have an event all about the future of aviation. We have done in the past. And we've collaborated with them where we've had an event, we've spoke about what we do, they come in and speak about what they do, and it's a great way to knowledge share and for students to engage with the both of us. But yeah, that's kind of how we work with them. Yeah, we tend to see them a lot at exhibitions and air shows and Farnborough Air Show and things like that.
I was just going to say, I've been to the Royal International Air Tattoo, and the Reds did a fly past with the 747. So yeah, that was quite exciting. Yeah, all right, back to the question. So Julianne has said, will this session be recorded so she can share it with the students later? Yes, 100%. It'll be recorded, and we'll put it on the on-demand section of the National Work Experience website and Career Map Live, actually, so you can see it in 2 places. Right, let's have a look. So Gavin says, do you have opportunity to travel in business roles?
You do, absolutely. Probably less so nowadays, but there is still an opportunity to travel if you work in our head office, for example. So we have, airports and clients all around the world. So you might have potential to travel to meet with them or for opportunities for them. So let me just think. When we are launching new routes, for example, so our network and alliances team, they work in our head office in a business role, but obviously they're very heavily involved in planning all our routes and networks. So they will be flying around the world, route planning, making sure logistically everything works. Those guys get to. We have teams here at British Airways that design all our products for onboard the aircraft. So obviously they get to go on board on a real life flight to see how it works. Does it work practically as it would, from the design to reality? There's lots of opportunities too. Previously, before the pandemic, we used to have a program at head office called in-flight customer support. And the idea would be that if you worked in a head office role, you could do your training as cabin crew, and every 3 months or so, you would fly as cabin crew to support a flight. And the idea would be that you obviously better your knowledge of our aircraft and our product and what it's like for our passengers and customer service on board. And then you can take that into your normal day job. And then during times of disruption, for example, our head office colleagues would be asked to support as well. I do think they will bring this back because it was a really popular program, and as you say, if you work in the office, we're right next to Heathrow Airport, so we see the planes flying all day long, and we think, oh, we'd love to be on board. So I do think it's a really popular program, and I do think they'll bring that back, so our colleagues will have the chance to work essentially as part-time cabin crew.
Sam, yeah, our offices are right next to Manchester Airport, and we dream about the same.
I actually joined British Airways as cabin crew. I joined five years ago as cabin crew, so I know that feeling really, really well. And now I'm in the office, and I think, oh, it would be lovely.
Brilliant. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's a couple of questions around the slide where you spoke about the different airlines that you work with. Lewis and Lara are talking about, asking questions about how you work with these organisations, and if you join a BA program, would you get to work with those other organisations as well?
Yes, absolutely. So being a part of IHG, our international airline group, we have British Airways obviously report to IHG, and there is a lot of movement between the two companies. So we have a lot of colleagues here at British Airways that then actually apply for a job at IHG and vice versa. So there is a lot of career opportunity between the two. So you might think, oh, well, actually, I would really like to work for Aer Lingus in their head office, or Iberia or Vueling or Level, which are the other airlines in that group. So the opportunities are there definitely, because there isn't a lot of overlap in what we do. In terms of our apprentices, thinking to our customer service apprentices, for example, they will predominantly work on British Airways check-in desks, but they also work on the Iberia desks at Terminal 5. So they get to experience the Iberia system and the way of doing things, and they learn lots of things about Spanish culture, dealing with our predominantly Spanish passengers. So same for our engineering apprentices, they get to work on the different aircraft within the airline group. So yeah, there is a lot of opportunity for our apprentices to do that, but also any colleague at British Airways, I guess.
Right, brilliant. Thank you, Sam. So there's a question here from Saul P, who's just talking about work experience. Is there anything on offer at the moment? I know when I spoke to your colleague Mel, she said you were planning something to start in September. Have you got any more detail on that yet? Or is there anywhere the guys could maybe register interest or something like that?
Yep, definitely. So I guess I could give you a kind of a sneak peek of what we're designing at the moment. And then in terms of registering interest, the website is shared with you, SpeedBirdZ. Any opportunities we have, such as work experience, we send emails to all our SpeedBirdZ users so that they're first in the know. So when we do open work experience, we'll be sending out emails via that site. So if you're signed up, you receive an email straight away to let you know that it's open. So that would be the best thing to do. But however, you can also do that on our careers website. So you can sign up for job alerts. And again, when work experience is open, you'll be alerted. But in terms of work experience, what we're doing is, previously at British Airways, we had a really strong program for work experience. We used to take in around 600 students across the year, across all different businesses, all different parts of the airline. And it was a great program. We knew that it worked. From our apprentices that we recruited, typically 1 in 5 of them had completed work experience at BA. So we know it's a great program, and we're really keen to bring it back. I guess going forward, you will know the challenges that an airline and British Airways have faced. I guess over the last couple of years, we went through quite a roller coaster during the pandemic, and our business has scaled down. So there are less people here at British Airways. But the workload has definitely gone higher. As I said, the demand for flights is higher than ever. So we're trying to think of creative ways that we can do more with less, and still support young people with employability opportunities, but also balance the needs and support of the operation. What we are hoping to do is, we actually had around 300 students that we had to cancel their work experience placements right at the beginning of 2020. And what we will be doing with them is trialing a hybrid work experience approach. So that will be a mix of, they'll do virtual placements on kind of grouped into 3 main streams, whether they're interested, well, 4 actually, whether they're interested in engineering, flight operations, airport, or business. They'll do a mix of a virtual placement and then a face-to-face day or an insight day. So we're going to trial this with them, see how that goes for the summer, and then hopefully roll that out from September onwards. For a year, we think we're going to see how that goes just while the business builds back. And then hopefully maybe in the future we can reinstate the full face-to-face programme. But that's what we're planning for the time being.
Brilliant. So yeah, guys, anyone interested, get registered in your interest. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So there's a question from Kelly here, just asking basically, where are BA based across the country? I mean, you mentioned Heathrow. I mean, is that the main place, or is there any other offices across the country?
Yeah, absolutely. So our main sort of base, if you would like, is predominantly London Heathrow. It's our biggest biggest airport, biggest hub for us. And our head office, which is called Waterside, is just about 5 minutes outside of the airport. So Heathrow, then we also have London Gatwick and London City. So that's 2 further airports within London. So big hub down here. But we also have bases in Cardiff in Wales. So we have engineering sites with offices in Cardiff. We have 3 sites there. We have an engineering base in Glasgow, up in Scotland, which is always really fun to visit, because I don't know if there's anyone from Glasgow or Scotland on this call, but those guys are always the best. They're so lovely. And we also have global engagement centres in Manchester and Newcastle. So these are the guys that are answering booking calls, queries, complaints, all the social media, relationships, all that kind of stuff. They do that at Manchester and Newcastle. So we do have bases across the UK. And I think, thinking back to work experience, if we do a virtual hybrid approach, where we used to have 600 students who came in for work experience at BA, they had to be local to Heathrow Airport. Whereas if we do it virtual, you can log on from anywhere in the UK. So we think it will be accessible. And that's something that we really want to do more of at British Airways is getting to meet and speak and engage with young people from right across the UK.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And then your apprenticeships, are they sort of spread across the UK as well, or?
They are. So they're here at London Heathrow, Wales, Scotland, and the customer service apprenticeships are at Manchester and Newcastle. Yep.
Excellent. Last question from Claire before we wrap up. What key skills do BA look for in a candidate?
Yeah, absolutely. So the key skills I would look for are definitely the ones we spoke a little bit about earlier. They're so transferable and they're so easy for you to develop on. So that would be your communication skills. So, not just how you talk, but how you listen, how you understand messages, and how you can convey your message into your team members around the business. How can you make sure that they've understood? Communication is absolutely key at British Airways. So that's the top one. Second one I say would be teamwork and collaboration. I think it's hugely important at British Airways. We have a one-team mentality. No matter what you do at British Airways, no matter what your role is, we have to support the airline. We have to make sure that it's up and running and it is best for all our passengers. So we all might have normal day jobs, but if, for example, there's activity in the terminal where our passengers need our support, everybody is asked to go and support that. So you have to have that teamwork, one team mentality. So that's really important for us. And then I guess maybe the third top skill, I think, and I would strongly encourage all young people to think about this, is just having that coachability and work ethic. So we really look for positive, professional people at British Airways. And that doesn't mean when we say professional that you need to have had loads of professional experience. We're looking for people that are just really open to being proactive, going above and beyond, willing to do their best and willing to learn more and be open and coachable. And I guess building on that, being flexible. So in aviation, no 2 days really are the same. Every single day is different and things can change all the time. So I think if you're adaptable and you're flexible, it's a lot easier for you to be able to roll with the changes. So yeah, they're the top skills that we look for in people.
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in British Airways, go and try and develop those skills. I'm just on there, absolutely. Right, okay. Have you got any sort of parting words you want to leave, Sam, to the guys today before we end the session?
I mean, there's been so many questions. I'm just having a little look in the Q&A now, and I'm so sorry we couldn't get to everyone. What I would do is, as I say, go online, go to our Speedbirds Ed website. There are 20 colleagues on there as digital mentors that you're able to online chat to at any point, and you'll be able to ask your questions that I might not have been able to answer today. Put it to the guys on the website, and they'll get back to you. And it's really nice to be able to speak to people at British Airways, I guess. Sometimes I know it can be a bit hard for young people who don't have an in or a connection at a company. So definitely make the most of that site. Make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. So whether it's a webinar like this, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, take any opportunity you can. It will really help you for your future and your skills. Okay.
Yeah, brilliant presentation. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I'll just wrap up and say we've got a load more events left for National Work Experience Week coming. So we've got people like Royal Mail, Coca-Cola, the Army, PwC, all talking about opportunities in work experience. So head over to the website on the events tab and have a look. We might see you on some more live events this week. And like I said earlier, this webinar has been recorded, so you can catch up at any time on the on-demand section of the National Work Experience Week website. And just say, yes, thank you for coming today. Hope you all enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see you soon again.
Thanks, Simon.
Thanks, Sam. Bye.